Welcome, everyone. This is once again your host, Shailesh, bringing you live from NZ World News Positive. And today we are going to have a positive word, which is dreams. So, what is dreams? And where does it start? And how does it start? And why do we want to talk about the word dream? So, dreams is all about your visions, your goals, your aspirations, your desires, your everything that you want to become. However, to do that, you have to sow the seed that how do we make those dreams come true. So today I have this amazing human being that we all are.
Mhm.
And we always, it doesn't matter whether we are this or that, whether we have a label or we have identity or not, it doesn't matter. Dream comes to every single human being, and they can also dream. Now, there are various things that when we talk about dreams, whether it's a dream is only about in the night it comes, or dream does it come only in during the day, or does it affect and impact on every single human. So we're going to dwell on this topic, dreams. And it's very important because it does impact our emotional well-being, but it also does impact in our life journey that you want to create, that you are born on this planet to make a purposeful journey for yourself. And this is what I'm going to talk about from a person who is all the way from Perth, from our neighbor, Australia, and Western Australia, Perth. And she is actually a normal person like us, but we are going to discuss about this because she has got this passion and this vision and the way she has created her journey and with the simple word called dreams. So welcome, Debbie, for this amazing. And we just talked about it a few days ago, and I was just like wanting to do this straight away. So, listeners, welcome, Debbie, to this beautiful topic called dreams. Let me introduce you. Let's go to you, Debbie. Tell us a little bit about you, and then we can just dive into this amazing topic and dreams. Tell us something about you.
Oh, sure. Well, I've been an accountant working for myself most of my life. I've just started a new business at 63
Mm,
because of reigniting some dreams and because of some work I did on myself and learning some more things about this side of life. And so I've got onto a journey of changing things. I've got two adult children. I've got three beautiful little grandchildren.
right.
And, part of changing was, one of my dreams is to spend more time with them and make sure I'm around for
Yeah.
them because they're growing and becoming these beautiful little humans
Yeah.
and being part of that. And I also want to travel and see the world and do some things that I really was starting to think I couldn't actually do.
Right.
That's just a
Uh,
few.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, as you can see, like we are going to dive into this, Debbie, about this word because at the age of 63, if you can do it, like everybody can do it. That's the first and foremost important part of this discussion. We can start and take off from there. Is there is no age, there is no identity, there is no labels to start a dream or to create a dream or to have a dream. Or, there are certain things that by subconsciously you have a dream. Now, is that subconsciously happens because we have been thinking, we have been manifesting? Is it because of that, or is it comes naturally for some people to dream and some people consciously to dream? That no, I have this vision, I have got this. People talk about goals, 5-year goals, 3 years goal, 2-year goals. So I'm going to talk to you about that, that on what, stage of the journey that we are, whatever we are in, how to create this, consciously a dream, which is a thing or so-called a thing or so-called something that you want, as you said, beautiful to travel. So this is something that you have a desire to travel or something to spend life and time with your grandsons or children around you and friends and family. This also is can be considered as your dream because this is not something everybody gets the opportunity to do it, right? So let's talk about that and how do you see that space that when you create? This is like creating a space for your own.
Yes. Well, Sorry, I'm just going to have to mute my phone. I didn't realize it was
Mm,
turned off. Um, well, I think what I started to learn at the age of 63, I started to reach out and to look for answers because
mhm,
I was realizing that my life wasn't where I wanted it to be. I
mm,
was doing all the things that we're told we should do,
mm,
work, 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 and then just wait and keep working and work hard, and you'll get to your retirement, and then you'll have fun, and relax and do all these things. And you're busy in your lifetime because you're bringing up kids. I was bringing up kids on my own
yes.
mostly, and things like that. So you sort of devote your time to other people. You devote your time to jobs,
Yep.
do all those things, which really are following other people's dreams. And you're helping, obviously, bringing up your own kids is great because you
Mm,
are trying to help them become the person they should be, also.
mm,
But if you're not being the person you should be,
mm,
it's not really a great role model anyway for your kids, I don't think, now. But I was
mm,
doing what we are just taught to do, our generation particularly, just
mm,
work hard, play hard, and eventually you will do everything that you wanted to do with your life.
mm,
But I think now, having learned some more about it,
mm,
and seeing what happened, how do we get off track? How do we not achieve all those things that were dreams? Was because we allow ourselves, and we don't know that we're allowing ourselves, we allow ourselves to be shaped by our environment, by the people around us, by our families, by the events
mm,
that happen to us that may destroy our self-esteem in all sorts of different ways. We're being shaped, and we're actually being having our dreams cut down and tamed down and molded into something else until we get to this identity at some point when we realize we're not we're not acting like who we are even. We're not
mm.
doing what we want to do.
True.
It's like we've had this identity put on us that is acceptable to everybody else, but
Mm,
it's not us. And
mm,
it's not us. And we know it's not. And people get very, very unhappy. They get stressed, they get angry, they get suicidal even because they're so
mm,
unhappy.
mm,
And I think part of that is because they can't see a way to get out of this identity that
mm,
has been molded onto them and they've been pushed into.
mm.
So I started looking into that a bit more and found there is ways to get
Yeah.
back there.
So what do you think about, like, when we talk about, oh, I want to achieve this or I want to achieve that, but then these are also so-called, as like somebody else will say, oh, you're just dreaming, you can't do it. And they will say, oh, no, this is not you. You don't have that skill or you don't have that talent. You better stick to what you have. How do you then make these dreams come true? Because this is where, as you said rightly, we are labeled, we are patterned, we are, molded. And
Hmm.
then to change out of that or to get out of that is actually a dream come true, right?
That's right.
How do you
It
put
is.
this into? Yeah.
Well, you're exactly right. That's exactly how it's done. Just those
Hmm.
words you use, you're dreaming.
Hmm.
You can't do that. You
Hmm.
can't, we don't have that. We don't have enough money. We don't, all the
Correct.
things that shape how you feel about yourself and where you're going to go. And
Right.
of course, that creates a kind of a comfort zone as well.
Hmm.
That's like, oh, I don't have to do that. I don't have to try hard. I don't have to work hard at school. I don't have to do this because we don't do that.
Hmm.
Our family doesn't do that. I'm not capable of doing any of those things, so I'm not going to even try. I'm not even going to
Hmm.
start. So it kind of creates a comfort zone as well.
Yes.
If and it's very hard to break out of it if everyone around you
Hmm.
is wanting you to stay in that comfort zone. Have you
Hmm.
noticed if you try and change as an adult, all your friends like don't want you to? No,
Hmm.
no, no. They want you to stay
Hmm.
as the person they know and the person that you are in their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter actually what you want.
Hmm.
So that's the start of
So,
starting to
so like,
change them.
yeah, because we are surrounded by people who are doing different things. And when they are doing different things, we always want something that we like. We want exactly to do exactly what that other person has got. And we want to copy that, or we want to follow that, or we want to chase that. And then we forget is it really you want to do it, or because you like it that somebody has done it, now you want to do it? So, this is a fine line where we always have struggles. That are you going to follow others just because they have achieved something and you feel envy or jealous or whatever you call it, or feel proud that, oh, I want to have the same thing what other person has got. But was it your dream, or was it his dream you want to live? When I want to ask you this question, is like, how do you see this comparison that we have today in this world? We want to live somebody else's dreams, in other words, rather than create our dreams. Because somebody has already created, now that there could be a dream of that person and he has achieved or she has achieved, but now you want to do the same thing because you think it's good that they have achieved it, I can also achieve it. But then, in other words, you are actually trying to have a dream of somebody else's achievement. How do you make this, like in the normal today's society? What would be your interaction or your active answers to? Because if you can do it at 63, do something, create something, you can do it any age. But then whether you want to do it as somebody else's dream or copying, or you want to really create your own dream, how would you define this?
Well, I think the only thing that people really copy is wanting things.
Yeah,
Oh, they've
that's
got a
right.
bigger house, they've got a bigger car, that sort of stuff. I really
Mm,
do not believe that anyone could achieve a great dream just by copying someone else's because you don't have the motivation to do that. If
so
it's not
true.
your dream, you're not motivated to do it. The
Mm,
only things you're really, really motivated to do are the things that actually in your heart are actually really important to you.
mm,
So if when you're doing those things, when you discover anything that you know is in your heart and you start doing it,
mm,
you notice it how you can zone out the world. You can just do that thing and be so happy you can do it for hours on end. And it's not, it doesn't make you tired, doesn't make you unhappy. It's just you're like in a zone that
yes.
is just all on your own. That is when you know you're touching on things that are really important to you. You
Mm,
won't get that if you're just following what someone else is doing
mm,
because you don't have that passion and fire. Unless you actually do have the same dream,
yeah.
you won't have the passion for it or the fire or the drive that will keep you going, that has to keep you going.
Yeah, so that is the confusion that most of the people who live as a subconscious mind, we live in that subconscious zone and comfort zone, as you said rightly, that we live in, that we don't understand, is it the dream or is it copying? Is not a dream actually, and it's not something that you would like to, just as you rightly pointed out, just having a bigger house or bigger car or bigger things is all great, but was it your inclination, or was it just because somebody else has got it? So that's the fine line we I wanted to just make sure that all the listeners who are listening can understand the difference between owning something that somebody owns and then creating something that you own, that you have owning, that you have earned. And that's the way most of the people who wants to create their own rather than copying somebody else's. So this is what I feel that it's very important when it comes to dreams. So I want to come back to that now. Another aspect of the dreams that we always struggle in this system that we are trapped into is like we feel that we can't create because of the systems that we are trapped. The system doesn't allow you to do certain things and things like that. However, our mind is unlimited. Our mind has got amazing, amazing, unlimited leaps and infinite boundaries to think and vision and create, right? In
Yeah.
that regard, since you have experienced it, you have done it, how do you then make those mindset changes to have that your own dreams, you know?
Well, the first thing is, like you say, you're working out what are your dreams. And so there's ways to do that. If you can remember back to when you were a child,
Mm-hmm.
for a start, go back to when you were a child and how you had many dreams, big dreams. You thought you could achieve anything as a child because no one had really taught you that you can't yet.
Mm.
So you have these ideas and big ideas. And the
mm,
things that you were passionate about then may be still the things you're passionate about now,
mm,
but you have become this other person. You've taken on this other identity. So first of all, there's way like look back firstly as yourself as a child, feel that joy that you felt. Remember that. Everyone smiles when you say that because it's like, oh yeah, I remember. You were so
mm,
happy because you had no limits put on you. The other thing you can do, which is sort of the same, is look forward in your life. Look forward to a future where you have everything that you want. You are
mm,
doing the things that you want. You're
mm,
with whoever you want. You're in a place where you want to be.
mm,
Everyone can do that and actually find that place and that person that is them in the future. It's quite easy. It seems like that would be hard. It's not because your mind already knows. Your subconscious mind already knows who you really want to be and who you really are, actually. So find that person and see what they're doing and what they're happy doing. They've already achieved everything that you want.
mm,
So what have they achieved? You can look at it and you can look and see, those are the things, that is what makes me happy. At my core, it makes me happy. So finding that and finding that feeling of, yes, I've achieved all these
mm,
things. I am so happy about my life right now. Bringing that feeling back to now and
mhm,
seeing what things come through and what actually sticks now.
mm.
You know, this is all emotion and it's
Absolutely.
getting it out of your subconscious and into your conscious mind.
Hmm. Conscious mind. But just on that, I wanted to intervene in that when you said go back to your own as a child. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that to say that because when we are child, we have lots of dreams, we have lots of desires, we want to do a lot of things, we explore a lot of things without even asking. But at that point, there's one element that 90% at that point the surrounding people around you, including your mom and dad and family and friends, they encourage you. They don't discourage you because you're a child, you are innocent, and they think you can do anything and everything, and they give you that positive vibes. Do you think
Mm,
that over a period of time, when you experienced that, as a child, we encourage a lot, but then when we grow up, we try to, as I was telling you before, that when somebody friend circle or your family they say, oh no, you're good in this, don't do that, don't try to do what you want to do, it's a completely shift of those same
mm,
people when you become adult, those same people who encouraged the child when you are a little, they try to not discourage but they try to point out that you are good at this and you are good at that, and they become suddenly your mentors or your ex exploring your own talents. How do you then you see this, like for all the listeners, and I think for all the listeners who are mom, dad, friends, family, everything, this is all for everyone. What we are discussing today is not for one particular label or identity, because at the end of the day, we are trying to help every human around us. We are trying to
mm,
support every human around us. And encouragement is one of the major motivational factor of human life. Either you
mm,
get motivated by your nature, surroundings, people around you, or whatever you call it that motivates you. And this motivation is required to achieve and to, implement your dreams. This is required all the time, irrespective of whatever your age is, irrespective of
mm,
whatever phase of your life is. You need.
mm.
How do you see this as in our current system? That what needs to change according to you when I say, put this to you? How do you see it? And do you think there is a lot of changes required in the human journey through the
Oh,
system?
yes,
Tell me about that.
it sure is. Well, Um, there's like you say, the parents, well, everyone, when you're a child, they encourage you, but they also do start to mold you, I think. But
Yeah.
the biggest change comes when you go to school.
Yes.
And this is where you really start to get molded into a worker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on purpose. This is not by accident. School only came into being
Mm.
to create workers for the Industrial Revolution. There was no school before that. You just were in the
Oh,
school of life. You learned what your parents knew.
yes.
Then they put you into school to learn how to be a worker
Mm.
because they needed a ton of workers for the new Industrial Revolution.
mm,
industrializing so many uh, types of industry, like the food industry, and then started with motor cars and all that sort of thing. So it didn't happen that long ago, really. And they said it was for the education of people. It wasn't. It was
mm,
for the good of the system. And there's still a hangover in that
okay.
today. And I'm
Mm,
sorry to all you teachers out there. I know you try and do a great job with kids, and you do a great job with kids. But you must admit that you are hampered by the system and what your curriculum is. You're only allowed to teach what's in the curriculum. It's not
mm,
decided by you.
mm,
So no matter how good you are teaching these kids to
mm,
stop thinking
mm,
and to stop dreaming,
mm.
because that was the whole point of the whole thing.
Yes,
They didn't want kids coming out and being astronauts. They wanted them to come and work for them.
yes, yes.
So that needs to change.
Absolutely. And I remember this back in India as well, where I grew up, and the education system that was borrowed by the colonization at that time, the similar system. And we are talking about a system, it doesn't matter who created and what created, the system that was created for humans. We also had at that time, before the classrooms and the universities and the schools, we had a outdoor teaching, teaching in the nature. You sit in the nature and you have been taught practically to touch, to
Mm,
feel, to talk, and to whether it is plant, whether it is trees, whether it is animals. You are literally in the outdoor environment, not in the indoor environment. And the education system that has been created, why we are talking about it is because that's where the dreams start, at the school or at the education level, where teachers encourage you to excel in what they find in you, and they give you that platform freely to explore. But in today's world, slowly, that system has become more and more like concise and like trapping you into forcing you into doing things that you don't like. And that's why we don't find much creation of astronauts or whatever we call it. People are suppressing their dreams. I have seen
absolutely.
people are suppressing the dreams because they don't know maths, because maths is required for becoming a pilot or becoming an astronaut. You need maths, and then if they not doing well in maths, which is also again taught in one particular fashion only, and if somebody doesn't understand that fashion, they have clueless. Now they have to compromise and they have to go into another field. So you are literally crushing the dreams of a human mind at that
Yeah.
young age, right? How do you
Hmm.
see this effect? And is that the thing that in the system, because of that, we are finding more and more unhappy or frustration inside us or mentally stress inside us, the humans that we have created through this system? That some may argue, no, it is not through the system, it is your own doing. And some may say, no, it is through the system because it's the environment that you are giving to the kids. And that environment is hampering, as you rightly said. There's a lot of hampering done. How do you view this as when it comes to change? Like, they're talking about during COVID, we saw we were at one point thinking that there won't be an education system, there won't be any schools. Then how do we teach and how do we,
Hmm.
communicate with the kids? And what are they going to do if there was no education or if there was no books? Are we going to go back to the old ways of, like, making them outdoor activities, or what was the that was a dilemma at that point. But then they brought up the online system. Okay, I can communicate with you online, but again it is a system, it is a trapping.
The same
Is that
system.
giving it's not giving you that physical sense, that personal sense or personal touch, you know and these, when we see this, how do you think should be a little bit, flexible or free for people to get molded into anything and everything? Because that's the human mind is should be as good as like a river, as good as like an ocean, very fluid it has to be, even when it comes to, teaching, education, or learning systems.
Mm-hmm.
What's your point of view in this system? And do you think there is really needs a drastically change in the environment and the way we are keeping our kids,
Yeah.
educated?
I think so. I think changes have already been made in a lot of places. I know in New Zealand, when I was there, my kids grew up there
Mm,
till my son was about 14 when he came over to Australia. And
mm-hmm,
but the education system that we went through was alternative and it wasn't the mainstream. But even the
mm-hmm,
mainstream, I saw trying to make changes, and some countries are trying to make changes. And what they're doing,
mm-hmm,
they're bringing in things. It is still within the system, but at least it's a trying. They brought in things called was um it was inquiry-based learning was how they did it. So a classroom might start off with something that's in the curriculum, and they were talking about rocks and geology and that sort of thing, right? So it was part of their, which, that's at primary. So that's actually quite innovative as well, because a lot of them don't ever teach you much about things like that, which is, part of the natural world. And there's also a lot of careers that can come out of that. But some kids weren't that interested in it, so they just dropped off and did other bits and pieces.
mm-hmm,
Some wanted to take it a bit further, and so they were allowed to and encouraged to. So they had different levels that you could go to. The ones that dropped off just went into something else that they were interested in, right? So you're always doing what you're interested in. Now,
mm-hmm,
some of these kids took it so far, they ended up at the university talking to the professors there about volcanoes.
mm-hmm.
That was their interest. That's how far they took it, and they were allowed and encouraged to do that. So
Yeah,
that changes the system quite a lot, especially at primary level, because you're teaching kids to learn,
yeah,
not stopping them learning, which is what they used to do. You
yeah,
actually weren't taught to learn. You were taught to recite what they wanted you and learn what you they wanted you to learn by rote.
yeah.
That's not teaching people to learn.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that's
that
the million-dollar question is like, how do you make every human's dreams more encourage, effective, impactful for themselves, but also create that space to have a dream? That is more important to creating a
yeah.
space. And it's every
Mm.
human's responsibility to create a space for every single human, whether they are your kids or friends or whatever. How do you make
Mm.
that transition, you know, very more acceptable by the society, acceptable by the communities? Because at the moment, what we are saying that, okay, you can't do it because you are not a part of certain group, so you don't belong there, so you can't dream that. And then you say, okay, you belong to this group, so you can dream. That's fine. But you don't know what one person has got dream in it. Just because you are giving him that environment and saying that you can pursue your dream here, it's not what we want this type of environment. How do we make that simple, flexible, free environment to have a dream of everyone to have a dream, irrespective of the identity and label and everything? That's what is coming into the picture. A lot of things are coming into the picture because of that people can't dream. Oh, I don't belong here, or I'm not into this, or I'm not into that group, that kind of thing. How do you think what needs to be drastically, addressed this to the system?
I think it's, well, if the system changed and did encourage children to come through and have that mindset, then you wouldn't have this problem
Mm,
because there are no barriers. Once you've changed your mindset and
mm,
you understand what your dreams are, you've got back in touch with them. As adults, we have to because we weren't
mm,
encouraged to do that mostly. Getting back in touch with that, what you're doing, you firstly have to do it all the internal work because your subconscious mind has taken on that identity
mm.
totally that you've been taught to have,
Yeah.
and it will keep you there. It will self-sabotage anything you try to do
Mm,
to change it. Doesn't matter if everyone gives you everything, every advantage, you will not make it
mm,
if you keep self-sabotaging. So you have to
mm.
retrain your own brain first. Your
Yeah.
brain is trying to keep you in its comfort zone because that is safe. It wants you to survive. It doesn't care if you're happy. It just wants you to survive,
Yep.
and it believes any change is dangerous. So you've got to retrain your brain to be thinking, I'm this other person. I am this person, the person who has all these things and is
Mm,
doing all these things that I want to do. And it's not dangerous. And my brain needs to know this is where I want to be. And
mm,
also, the universe itself needs to know where you want to be
mm.
because there are powers out there. We know when we set our minds on some goal,
Mm.
things seem to open up.
True.
Someone will come along and talk to us about the right thing, or things happen.
Yeah.
So we're putting an intention out there as a on an energy level as well. But
Mm.
we have to get out of our own way. We have to get that brain, our survival brain, to let us do it. We have to talk to it and make it do what we want to do, not just let it run us. Because otherwise, we can't get to those dreams. So it doesn't matter what is provided for us. If we don't do the mind work, we
Mm.
won't get to the dreams. If we do the mind work, I don't believe anything in the universe will stop you. I don't think anything, I think everything is already out there for you to do and to get to your dreams. There is nothing actually stopping you except for in your own mind.
Yeah, and that is where I think it's a huge difference in the mindset. So when you are working on your own, that's where you don't need to blame anyone. That's one side of it. And then you can't say, I can't do this or I can't do that, because you have already worked out in your own mindset. And then, of course, as you rightly said, that once you seek help, guidance from the universe, it will come through. And that's the positive mindset that we all should have. So I wanted to ask this, how do you see in today's world? There is one set of things as just on that, if you look at it, being ourselves, take our examples, our own. Now we are talking today, we have experience, whatever we have experienced now, we that same experience, we want to put it out to our kids and to our colleagues and to our students, whatever we call it. We want to do share our experiences and things like that. However, in today's generation, what do you see that, these kids, what would be your kind of a message to all the kids who are listening that, okay, no matter whoever gives you the guidance and mentoring and experiences they can share with you, but you still have your own mind to make those transitions and decisions for yourself
Mhm.
and to
Yes.
create. What would be your message to all the youngsters and all, not just youngsters, but to anyone, but particularly the young mind who get trapped or by listening to the seniors or the teachers or to the parents, they get trapped,
They do.
you
Um,
know?
I, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
think, yeah, I think it's what I try and tell my little grandkids, and they're very encouraged by their parents, but I
mm,
still think they get the messages at school, the certain types of
yes.
messages
Mm,
it's not a conscious thing that the teachers do either.
mm,
It is just a message, and it comes through from the other kids as well. And so
mm,
things I try and tell them are mostly to do with self-esteem. Wherever I can build up their self-esteem, I will. Wherever I can support them in saying whatever they're saying, I won't cut them down. I will talk about
mm,
what they're talking about at their level, and then encourage them to
mm,
look further. And I think also when they're doing something that they love to do, I say, well, if you're doing it to the best of your ability, no one else can tell you any different.
mm,
You know if you're doing your best. You always know if you're doing your best. So if you do your best, you're going to get to where you want to go. And no one else can tell you any different because you're the only one who knows. And I try and get it to there so they realize they don't have to listen to other people's views and opinions. They
yeah,
can actually go with their own and just,
mm,
they don't even have to argue with people. They just have to know that
that's right.
they're okay being them, being
Mm,
themselves, the best of themselves.
yes, yes. And I think that needs a lot of courage, confidence, but also change of mindset is the major, as you rightly said, inner, your own inner mind,
Yes.
to make those mindset changes. And that's altogether a different game of mindset. How do you change and all that? But dreams also starts with your mind, of your mind settings. Dreams are not
Yeah.
just created, right?
No. They you have some I think that you just know
Mm,
you would like to do, and they make you feel good even thinking about them.
that's true.
Those sorts of things. Yes, and it's a pure sort of feeling. It's not a, oh, I think I should do that. That
Mm,
won't give you the same kind of feeling as something that you just feel right
right.
about.
Yeah.
And it will change as kids grow older and they do learn things. Like they'll learn about the environment and that sort of thing. If they're lucky enough to get a really good, rounded education about themselves and their environment and some psychological things and all sorts of things that come into it, and they learn about those things, and they might see, oh, I'd really like to help people do this, or I'd really like to excel at this thing, or find out more. I would like to just keep learning about this particular thing, or things like that. They that open up with
Mm.
if the education is right, you know.
Yeah. So what's your experience on dreams when it comes to, since we are talking this topic, dreams? People always say, oh, your dreaming means you had a bad night dream, or you had a bad dream, or you had a good dream in the night when you wake up, and or when you are sweating, middle of the night, you wake up and you think, oh, I had a bad dream, or and then they relate to a lot of things spiritually and this way and that way and all that they put labels. However, dreams are dreams. They are dreams, and sometimes they, what you see, what you dream gets true in the next morning. You must have seen someone in the night, and then it's in the morning you can see that same person, and
Mm,
you think, oh,
mm.
that's that I dreamt of you and I met you. That's what sometimes happens. But how do you view in your experience the dreams that comes in the night or when you're sleeping or even in the daytime when you're sleeping? So is it dreams are related or labeled as only when you sleep that you get dream? How would you explain that a little bit on your
Yeah,
own?
well, just from my own
Yeah, just
looking at
from
it,
you.
I just don't think they're that related. I
Mm,
think the dreams at night are your brain processing things more and putting things into boxes and making sense of things. And it can be in a really wild, wacky way and
mm,
making connections that you wouldn't normally make or anything like that. But um, I think it's sort of just, it takes all the things that's happened during the day. It's in free flow. So it's just sort of making connections that are all over the place. So you could
so true.
and we can come up with really original ideas that way because our brain will make a connection that it never would have made logically during the day.
Mm,
So there may be, I mean, was it Beethoven or somebody who would wake up in the morning and have dreamed the whole symphony, the whole piece of music?
yeah.
Somebody did it that way. So it can definitely have that, but I don't think that's where you form your dreams or your goals or your passions for life. I
Mm,
think they come from your heart. Your brain is a tool in a way. It does so many things, but it's not who you are.
mm.
It is part of you, but not you.
Do you say that the thoughts that comes to us are like actually trying to say to us that this is your dreams? Choose these thoughts. Do you how would you do you think this is what I think? I don't know. I'm just testing myself. Like, does this, how can the thoughts that keep coming to us and keep changing, and sometimes we think this, sometimes we think that. Now, these thoughts, can these be related to dreams, or can they be related like a choices to create our own those, thoughts becoming things? Otherwise, they are only thoughts unless they become things. Now,
Mm.
when they become things, that's like, oh, that's a dream come true. I had a thought and I did it, and now it's
Mm.
completed. How would you
Mm.
say this part as a dreams when it comes to dreams? Because dreams, they say always, oh, it's a fantasy, it never happens, it may not happen, 90% is only a dream. But when you choose your thoughts, then you can make something out of those thoughts. But then when I
Yeah.
look at things, dreams and thoughts, what would you say about the thoughts and the dreams?
My thoughts and the dreams. But I think again it's probably that division between your heart and your brain, or your soul and your brain, whatever you want to call it.
Mm,
Um, just and the thoughts may be helping you get to where your dreams are. And the thoughts may make you change your dreams.
that's right.
You might, yeah, you
Mm,
might aim for one thing and you're going and going and going, you're really happy with that. But as you
mm,
go, somehow it changes a little bit. Your thoughts have changed it. As long as you're still true to what you feel is right, that's making you happy. If you get taken off the track a little bit by those thoughts, then you probably will realize it. And if
mm,
you've got, self-aware, you can come back to the dream, come back to the goal, and
Right.
keep going on that path. Because thoughts can be generated by other people.
Mm. So
And just
true.
remember, our brains are listening to things. We could hear something on the TV or the radio or someone saying something, and it's gone into our brain already. We can't stop it.
You don't stop.
And that may cause a thought that is completely not a part of us at all.
Mm.
So you do really have to, I think, be careful and make sure your heart is still in um, the goal, and meditating and having those quiet times when you just let your own thoughts come. Just let your own being be. Meditators tell us all the time you need to meditate every day just to make sure that you are in touch.
So do you think dreams is an illusion or dreams is a reality? How would you describe dreams as?
The dreams I'm talking about are your dreams for life, your
Mm.
dreams for how you want your life to be or what you want to do in your life. They may be very small and they may be very big, but
Mm.
that doesn't matter. That's yours.
Mm.
We don't have to feel we have to achieve amazing things.
Yep.
Some people are happy achieving bringing up a family,
So true.
having a quiet life and staying at home a lot. Some people are happy with that. That's their dream of their life. But if they're not happy with that because they do have other dreams, then they shouldn't be doing that
Mm.
because it won't make them happy. It's not possible to be happy when
Mm.
you're not doing the things you actually want to do.
Yep.
And there is no dream too big. In this day and age, look at the things we're doing that were impossible just 50 years ago and
Yeah.
100 years ago. They were impossible. And
Mm.
now they're reality. So
Mm.
no dream is too big. No
Yeah.
dream is as impossible.
Mm.
We just haven't found the way to do it yet.
Yeah. That's a great message, Debbie. I really love that because there's no dream is big and there's nothing impossible in this world as a human.
Mm.
And so this is the final message I wanted to, we're coming to the end, Debbie, and I wanted to touch on the final, your message, like, when it, as you said rightly, there's nothing in this world that is impossible for a human. But then these dreams are also related to humans only. What is it? Like, how does this connection of dreams with humans and human minds, or whatever this being a human that we are on this planet, and we have the capacity and the capability and the knowledge and the everything to create a dream for ourselves, and we keep living a life with no matter small big, even raising family, even like helping someone, it's all like is a great
Mm.
achievement. And these can be connected through our dreams because some has got a humanity aspect of, like they say, I want, my purpose is humanity, or my purpose is to achieve this and achieve that. So that is a dream come true for that person and that human. What will be your final message as a journey of a human life to live, as a final thing for all the listeners? What would you say when it comes to dreams and when it comes to living your own journey or as a human life? How would you, what's your message?
Well, I would say now, looking back and looking forward at my life and how I
Yeah.
want it to be, I think the biggest dream that will keep you motivated forever
Hmm.
is change,
Right.
to always be changing, to always be changing to what it is that you want and what it is that makes you happy. It will be change. It won't be staying the same.
Mm.
Because if you're thinking of a dream, then you know you haven't made that dream and you
Right.
have to change something. So, and it's fine to change everything. There isn't, we're pretty much taught that we pick a path and we have to stay on it. And once you're on it, you've made your bed, you've got to lie in it, all those sorts of sayings that try and keep you there. I think that just let it all go. Just let it all go and let change happen.
Mm.
Search for happiness. And I hope and I know that people in their search, a lot of their times, what makes them happy is helping other people,
Correct.
helping animals, making this a better world,
Mm.
doing things for the environment. A lot of people, that makes them very happy, especially the kids coming through. So
Yeah.
it will be a better world if everyone actually does what they dream they could do and change
Absolutely.
continually to what that is.
Amazing. Amazing. This is Debbie. As you rightly said that, because in my spiritual world or my spiritual two cents of mind, I always say that the universe has got its own constant change by its own design and divine that keeps changing, whether we are
Yes.
born as an internal changes or outside changes. So if that constant change is the only permanent thing, but then, as you rightly said, that we have to change too consciously, because one
Mm,
is a subconscious change, which is a constant change happening. We can't edit, we can't modify, we can't delete it. But then changes that you make and that you
mm,
can make every time change is
mm,
also is exactly like the universe, right? We are
mm.
those universe. So I love this
Yes.
change, and I think acceptance of change is the most important part, but also creating change is creating dreams. Creating change is creating dreams. So I
Yes.
think with that note, Debbie, this is wonderful conversation. Your one word or two words or one sentence for the listeners, and then we can conclude today's dream episode. Tell us.
What the one word is?
Oh, what the one sentence that you want to talk to all the listeners? But I said like dreams is like creating dreams, creating change is creating dreams, basically.
Yes.
You
Yes.
want something to add to it, or what's your final word in that regard? Is a
Just the same
positive
thing, really.
energy.
Just the, yeah, just
Mm,
opening up, letting go of boundaries, letting go of anything that is stopping you
mm,
making change. Like you say, you can let change happen to you, or you can make change, and you can just be open to being the
mm,
change. And I think that to
mm.
learn to do that in your own body and in your own life would make your life completely different. Everyone's life is completely different.
Absolutely. That's a powerful message motivation for, you can change yourself. You don't need anyone to change you, but you can change yourself. That's the power you have been given. And so I think once you do that, you can achieve anything and everything in this journey of a human, where people can say, "Oh, your dreams come true," because
Mm.
this is what we
Mhm.
ultimately look for, right? To accomplish something that we have created on our own. With that note, Debbie, this is beautiful conversation, and I wish we could continue, but time restricts. But we will come back probably more on this, because ultimately we are here to talk about the motivational things that we can impact on effect. And so all the listeners, please write to us and let us know how do you find this topic of dreams, and if you need any other topic that we could definitely come up with. But we can also continue with the dream topic of episode 2 if we have to. With that,
Mhm.
I take your leave, and all of you goodbye. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Thank
Debbie,
you.
for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you.